The idea of a wizard school game has been around for a long time, and for those who are looking for one, Ikenfell is not it. Instead, Ikenfell is a throwback timing-based combat RPG with a diverse, charming cast, cats that serve as healing and save points, and a lot of mysteries and secrets to unravel. I did initially see it as a wizard school RPG, but quickly learned otherwise and was able to then enjoy this solidly made game for what it is. Stick around and I'll show you what makes Ikenfell a special game and why you should give it a chance if you're interested. Ikenfell is a turn-based tactical RPG developed by Happy Ray Games and published by Humble Games. The designer for the game, Chevy Ray, put up the game on Kickstarter in 2016, citing inspirations such as Harry Potter and the Paper Mario games. The game hit its $25,000 goal quickly and ended up with over double that by the end of the Kickstarter. After a one-year release delay, the game came to PC, Switch, PS4, Xbox One, and Mac on October 8, 2020, and was received mostly positively by critics and sits at very positive on Steam reviews. What is the premise of Ikenfell, though? Ikenfell follows Marit, an ordinary, non-magical person who decides to travel to the magic school Ikenfell after his sister Safina, who attends the school, fails to come home for the summer. On the way to Ikenfell, though, Marit finds out something strange has happened to her. She has been given magical fire powers. Her unexplained realization of power is just one of a series of unusual happenings going on at Ikenfell, and Marit's missing sister seems to be involved in them. Marit proceeds to team up with some of Safina's friends and classmates to discover the answers to what is happening to Ikenfell and uncover mysteries both personal and world-shaking. The first thing I noticed when it came to the story and cast is that the game is unafraid to go to some dark, real places with its characters. The trauma some of the characters have gone through is significant and treated with respect across the board for all their struggles. For those worried that the game referencing and in some cases showing traumatic events could be hard for those who have gone through similar life experiences, there is a setting in the accessibility options that turns on content warnings that will warn a player about the content of particular scenes and allow them to skip it if need be. The accessibility in general for the game is great, but I'll get into that more later. I'm simply impressed with the care they put into their characters and story. This excellent and significant writing is coupled with a cast of characters that aren't generally found in lots of video games. The cast is incredibly diverse across race, gender, and sexuality, and it's great to see a game that embraces the spectrum of human identity. Then we come to the story itself, and it is charming, poignant, and has some very good twists and reveals as Marit and the others uncover mysteries and learn about past events. The game uses mirror prisms to allow the party to see events from before the game began that give a lot of context and depth to the storytelling, which I found a really cool way to give the player important information without forcing them to scrounge for it through long bits of text. Overall, solidly written and lovable cast with a fun, twisting story. Now for combat, as I said before, this game was inspired by the Paper Mario games, and that shows in the gameplay. Each attack, defense, heal, buff, and debuff performed has a special animation that you have to hit a button in time with to get the best result. A great timing skill does the full amount of damage, healing, buffing, etc. A nice timing skill does a moderate amount, and an oops timing skill does basically nothing. Too many oops timings on your defense will mean your characters lose health very quickly, and once they're all down, it's game over. Best to get those grates in to take out your enemies first. The timing does take some getting used to, especially since the animation for enemies' attacks vary consistently, but you learn them over time as you use your party's abilities and face a variety of enemies. Enemies are encountered via the overworld, and then you go into a battle screen where characters move around in a grid and can perform different abilities that you unlock as they level up. Each party member has completely different skills they can use, usually related to their interests. Marit uses fire powers, while the alchemically inclined Petronella uses potions in battle. These skills have various different areas they affect, and so you need to be careful about where you position your characters relative to the enemies in the combat space to make the most of every ability you use. The enemies have a lot of fun designs. While the timing-based attacks mean combat is a bit repetitive, the variety of enemies and their challenge helps alleviate potential tedium. Each one of the chapters takes place primarily in a single area of the map that you'll need to navigate through, battling monsters and solving puzzles to arrive at the chapter boss. The boss battles tend to be quite challenging and have multiple phases, but the game doesn't go overboard with any of them. With a generous supply of items and equipment that can be fairly reliably upgraded from shops with the money earned from battles, grinding is not going to be all that necessary throughout your journey. The puzzles are likewise a fun challenge, but very rarely frustrating, which helps keep the game's pacing from getting monotonous. Another thing assisting your journey are the cats that inhabit Ikenfell. Not only are they adorable, they also serve as full healing points and are where you save the game. I do wish the game had more than 3 save files, but otherwise, how could I complain about the cuteness of this system? While combat is the main driver of story progression and of gameplay, there are some instances of side quests in the game, plus some secrets that can be unlocked by looking around. They may be few and not particularly deep, but their presence helps give the player more to do than just barrel on with the story and encourages further exploration of Ikenfell and the surrounding area. Certain areas are blocked off that open up over time, but once you've opened an area, it's open for good and you can explore to your heart's content. Keep a sharp eye out for anything that seems out of place in these areas. A bookshelf that might be on hinges, an area of black screen off the main area that isn't actually separated from the area. Ikenfell likes to throw these little discrepancies into each level and rewards those who find them. On the presentation side of things, you can clearly see that they went for a pixel-based art style reminiscent of older RPGs. Much like another pixel-based art game I've discussed recently with Celeste, Ikenfell works within the aesthetic to maintain personality for the world and its characters through animation. The characters in particular have great animations that give visual clues as to their personalities, and the character portraits have a decent amount of variety to match the different moods they go through. The environments also accomplish that variety, although I didn't find as much depth in the background animation as I did when it came to the characters. Overall, I think the art and animation looks nice. On top of that, the music is easy to listen to and tonally resonant with the rest of the game. I was pleasantly surprised when playing, and even more so when there were a couple special songs that utilized vocals to highlight particular characters. However, that is the only talking, or more accurately singing, that goes on in the game, since the game has no voice acting. Now, one of the notable aspects of Ikenfell is its accessibility. I mentioned before the content warnings, but the game also includes settings to remove or reduce flashing lights and color blindness modes. For those players who might be leery about the timing-based combat system, there are also settings to have it so you don't have to do it, and every ability is a great one, or you can have the timing still be in the game, but in a kinder form where it only varies between okay and great. While it is not comprehensive, the attention the development team placed on making Ikenfell a game that could be enjoyed by many people regardless of circumstance is something I hope other developers continue to aspire to equal or surpass. Ikenfell embraced some of the recent trends in accessibility in games and introduced some of its own, showing their forward thinking when it comes to this growing part of video games. Ikenfell is a solidly put together game with a lot of thought placed into making it enjoyable for many different players. I'm impressed by its writing, accessibility, and design, and while the gameplay is nothing spectacular or groundbreaking, I enjoyed it nonetheless. I hope more people give the game a chance because it's a solid game that I think would be enjoyed by many RPG fans out there. I also hope that you enjoyed my video on Ikenfell, and as always, if you did, liking the video gives it a chance to guard against the attacks of the boss known as the YouTube algorithm. Comments can also be used in these efforts, and if you want to continue seeing my videos in the future, consider subscribing and ringing the bell. I hope you have a great day, and happy gaming!